Now let's talk about how to overcome these dysfunctions in your teams. The key here is we want to accelerate the process of getting through these so that you can become more cohesive quicker. And we're going to start, of course, with the first dysfunction, which is the absence of trust. And by trust, what we're talking about is vulnerability-based trust. So how do we get people on a team to feel more comfortable being vulnerable with one another? Well, there's one exercise we'd like to do with teams. It's very simple and fast. It's called the personal histories exercise. And here's how it works. You go around the table at a staff meeting, and you have each person say this. Here's where I grew up. Here's how many kids are in my family and where I fell in the order there. And here's the most interesting challenge of my childhood. Not my inner childhood, but of being a kid. The purpose of the exercise is just to get team members to be more comfortable opening up to one another about who they are and where they came from, and to help other people understand them better. Another exercise along these lines, and in far more depth, is the use of the Myers-Briggs or other profiling tools. What these do is they allow team members to understand one another on a fundamental basis, and they make it possible for them to admit their strengths and weaknesses without being judged. It gives them the courage to comment on one another and to enter the danger with one another without feeling like they're being too personal. They can be very powerful tools. Now again, the process of building trust and increasing vulnerability takes some time, but time is not the key variable. You can greatly accelerate this process using tools like the personal histories exercise and the Myers-Briggs or other profiling tools. Now the other benefit of these tools is that they avoid something called the fundamental attribution error. The fundamental attribution error is that we tend to attribute other people's negative behaviors to their character, internal attribution, but our own to our environment, an external attribution. In other words, if I go to the grocery store and I see some dad with twin boys that are 5 and he's swatting one of them or scolding one particularly harshly, I think that's a mean, angry man. The next day I'm doing it, I'm like, I've got some unruly children. You know, it's my environment that's making me do it, but he must have a problem. By doing exercises like the personal histories and the Myers-Briggs or another profiling tool, we're probably going to be able to overcome that, in addition to making people feel more comfortable being vulnerable. Now, what about the role of the leader? Well, the leader, of course, is critical in this. And as we talked about before, if the leader cannot be vulnerable first, cannot admit their mistakes, and be open with the rest of the team, then there's little chance that the team members are going to be able to do that. And so as a leader, we must go first. Okay, we've talked about how to accelerate the process of building trust. Now let's move on to dysfunction number 2.